Welcome back to the show. Well, last week we announced that we were going to have the second installment in a series of reports from the room of George Miller, and because we were running late and having way too much fun, we had to postpone it until this evening. So, once again, here with one of his weekly reports from his room, the much sought-after and celebrated comedian, George Miller.
Hi, this is George Miller, and this is my room right here. And in spite of my busy schedule, I always try to find time each day to watch plenty of television. Right here, this is my home entertainment center, and I've always liked the talk shows the best, I guess. Merv Griffin was great today. He had one of those theme shows. His guests were Mickey Rooney, Shelley Winters, and Mariette Hartley. The theme was actors who think they are interesting. And I saw the Phil Donahue show this morning. The subject was depression. There weren't any guests. I guess everybody was too bummed out to show up. One of the things I like about the talk shows is you get to see people you wouldn't ordinarily see. Like, I was watching Hugh Hefner being interviewed the other day, and I've always liked the Playboy Advisor because they have great questions like, the man I've been living with for the past 8 years has an incurable disease. How can I break the news to him? Also, can you tell me a good way to clean my stereo records? And I always look forward to an appearance by William F. Buckley. You know what I always wanted to do is to get his private phone number and to call him up and say, listen, you don't know me, but I fell asleep during the last 20 minutes of the Dukes of Hazzard, and I was wondering if you could kind of fill me in. And I noticed that Jack LaLanne and Richard Simmons have their programs on early in the morning. I mean, if you're in good enough condition to get up at that hour, what do you need with those guys? I guess I'm kind of partial to the game shows because my cousin won a lot of money on one of them. It was a kind of a strange show. He won $40,000. His category was fat people who have nothing to live for. You have to watch television carefully, I think, because the scenes change so fast. Like recently I watched an important report on the danger of nuclear mishaps, and all of a sudden there was the founder of Wendy's. And I don't like it when television tries to trick us. Like, they always call it Request Playhouse or Encore Theater. How about Crummy Repeat? Encore Theater. There's something you see a lot of. People standing up at the end of a TV show yelling, Encore, Encore. Request Playhouse, Encore Theater. And they wonder why a decent man gets angry. This is George Miller, and I'm still in my room.
George Miller, and he's still in his room. Once again, it's time for our weekly report from our good friend George Miller. George Miller's weekly report. I'm repeating myself, and I know it. Once again, George Miller from his room.
Hi, this is George Miller, and this is my room right here. On a talk show recently, somebody mentioned that Edie Gourmet was once asked how she and Steve Lawrence had stayed married for so many years. And supposedly Edie said, because we've never had an in-depth conversation. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I do know that a lot of couples make the same mistake of not getting to know each other very well. Like, the people next door to me have been married for 8 years, and the other night I heard him say to her, honey, let's go out to a restaurant for dinner tonight. You don't cook at all, do you? I think the worst thing that can happen to a relationship is when two people fail to trust each other. I had a girlfriend a few years ago and we were both very suspicious. One year for Christmas we gave each other sodium pentothal. Certain guys have different approaches to meeting women. A friend of mine, no matter what the situation, will go up to a girl he's never seen before and he always says the same thing. Aren't you the daughter of circus people? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think a good strategy on a first date is to make this statement. Well, I'm certainly not perfect. God knows I've got my faults. See, this gives you leeway if you want to be a jerk later in the evening. I don't think any man knows for sure if he's going to score or not. But I'll tell you, if she starts talking about priorities, you can be sure there's not a chance in hell. Priorities will stop you every time. Well, I've got to go now. I've got a lot of things to do. I always spend a couple of hours each day rehearsing what I'm going to say to my ex-girlfriend if I should ever run into her again. But I would like to leave you with this thought. Be considerate. The most important thing in any relationship is consideration of the other person's feelings. Like, I called up this girl I was dating who was in the hospital, and I told her I'd come visit her on Monday. She said she'd be going home on Sunday. I said, well, can't you stay an extra day? She said, no. Boy, some people have no consideration. I mean, things like that happen, and they wonder why a decent man gets angry. This is George Miller, and I'm still in my room.